Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Cousin
Connection
Podcast.
What?
You were supposed to say podcast with me.
Oh shit! I completely forgot. My bad. My bad. I was so looking forward to hearing your intro that I completely forgot about that.
I was like riled up. I was excited, and I looked at you like, "Hello, podcast."
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay, we'll do it again.
Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Cousin
Connection
Podcast. My name is Sarah.
My name's Amir.
And today we have a bunch of different topics that we want to talk about. The first one that we want to talk about,
the most important thing that's on our mind right now, and this is affecting our community in general, is
the world.
Or the world in general. Of course, they wouldn't want you to think that, is what's currently going down in Palestine. The land of Palestine. We don't mention any other names.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I'm sure everyone who's listening to this is pretty aware of what has been going on, the illegal
Should I give like a breakdown of the history of what's going on, or do you think everybody will kind of understand what's been going on there?
No, I think a brief synopsis is like good, just in case if there's someone out there that doesn't actually understand what's happening, it's always good to provide a little bit of insight.
Okay. Well, in general, actually, let me start from the beginning then.
1948.
So we had the World War II, where a lot of the Jews were persecuted by the Germans. They were put in camps. And essentially, after the war was over, they were looking for some type of reparations for the Jewish people. So their idea, or at least what they were shopping around, was giving these Jewish people a land of their own. And something that a lot of people don't know is that what eventually was chosen as the Palestine, that wasn't actually the first choice, or at least it wasn't the only choice. They were like, oh, let's take Uganda, let's take Madagascar, let's give them an island. They actually had Lebanon. They had basically all of the Arab countries on the list there, almost like they're serving up on a platter and be like, just make your choice. And
as if the Arabs would let them get there.
Exactly.
As if they wish.
Well, they did eventually let them get Palestine.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And so they gave them the land of Palestine, and ironically, in their I don't know if people know this, in their anthem for the country, they say
the Israeli anthem?
In the Israeli anthem. Okay, we just mentioned
the word.
A
country that should not not even give them the title of country, okay?
Yeah, they have the gall to say in that anthem, a people without a land, a country without a people, when really there were people on that land to begin with. It was I think like 80% Muslim or 60% Muslim, or no, high majority of Muslim, but there were still like some Christians in there as well. I think it was like 5% Jewish already. So all the countries came together and they gave them a huge chunk of Palestine and essentially said, this is your land now. And this was in 1948.
Who really had the authority over Palestine?
Well, it was the whole world, right? They all came together.
The whole world was like, yeah, you know what?
They didn't care about the people there. They didn't care about them at all. So they're like, these are desert people. They have no power. They have no army. They have nothing to kind of go against us with. So we'll kind of just brush them off and take the land from them. Pure colonialism.
At its finest,
exactly. In the 20th century of all places. So that was in 1948, and they gave them that land. They sectioned off what Palestine was compared to what Israel was.
I actually read that 750,000 Palestinians lost their life during that period of time. They call it the Nakba, which translates to catastrophe, I believe, in English, but that's insane. Yeah,
it was ethnic cleansing, which is still going on to this day. And then that was in 1948.
Yeah.
And I believe in 1967 there was another major push to take more of that Palestinian land from the people. So that's when you see, I think everyone's seen that post of the map, which the Palestinian land gets smaller and smaller as Israeli forces kind of expand throughout the land. And every few years or so, they would take more and more land. At one point, Jordan was able to support. They had
like an agreement or something.
Exactly. They had some rule to the land there. They're kind of protecting, in a way, the Palestinian people. But then they were pushed out, And then the Israelis, of course, started taking more and more land. And now we're up to the point where they're like, you know what? No one seems to have stopped us at this point. The UN
not only did they not stop them, but there are countries who, you know, it used to be on the low where they were funding them through like the US or some of now the Arab countries that have Egypt, the UAE, like all of them that are trying to develop this somewhat relationship, which God knows why. I don't know what they're trying to do there, but you know, now they're openly supporting them, and they have all this money to help build their military with state-of-the-art technology, weapons.
Yep.
And they have the nerve to say that the Palestinians are fighting back with rocks.
Yeah. So, of course, with all of this expansion, eventually the Palestinian people will be like, yo, what are you doing? They're going to fight back. They're going to, out of self-defense.
As they should.
But, of course, this has been misconstrued by the
it's called gaslighting. No, it's the Israeli people. Like, I'm not even going to say all Israelis. It's the Zionists who are gaslighting by saying, oh, we're just defending. They're fighting us, so we're fighting them. No. That's not how it works.
Yeah, you can't punch someone in the eye, and then when you get punched back, be like, "Why did you punch me?"
Yeah.
Like, why did you retaliate? It's like pure instinct, self-defense.
It just it's very. It makes me frustrated because they not only are they oppressing the Palestinians, but they're also not giving them an opportunity to fight back. They're not letting them. They can't complain. They want to displace them from their homes. This illegal occupation, especially in Sheikh Jarrah, and they're not giving them another option. They're just like, well, we're just going to take your home.
Yeah.
And find somewhere else to live. Good luck.
And you mentioned Sheikh Jarrah, so that's why recently a lot of people have been hearing a lot more about it.
Right.
Is because of these forced quote unquote evictions of Palestinian people from their homes in a neighborhood called Sheikh Jarrah.
Yeah.
They're really just kind of throwing them out of their homes that they've had. They have a right to this land for millennia at this point, and people are literally taking out their stuff and just walking into their houses and saying, "This is mine now." I'm
sure you guys have all seen those videos, especially that really famous one where that Israeli man is walking into a Palestinian home, and the woman is saying like telling him to leave, and he's like, if I don't take it, someone else will.
Exactly.
The audacity.
And that dude sounded like a New Yorker of all people.
Yeah.
He did not sound like he was from that land. He probably just took a plane
because
from America just to get that home.
Of course, yeah. Like I was watching different and I know people are saying like, oh, if you're using Instagram as your main source of like a news to get the information, that just know that it's censored, or I mean, depending on where you're looking. But there are also people who are posting really good information. Like I'm sure you've seen Subhi Taha's videos.
Yeah, Subhi, he's a real MVP when it came to all of this.
But he's been talking about Palestine. He's like, this isn't his first time.
He is Palestinian.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I actually remember going to a protest like years ago. I think it was like 2014 or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they had that, like, it was like a really long, not a war, but they were basically
bombing. Just bombing the Gaza Strip constantly.
Yeah. And it's the fact, like this time around, the fact that they were, first of all, it's Ramadan, and the fact that they were attacking the Palestinians in the mosque in Masjid al-Aqsa,
like you said, it's gaslighting. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, but I think the Zionists, I think it's the IDF, right?
Yeah, the IDF is the actual military. Yeah,
they knew that Masjid al-Aqsa, the Gaza Strip, or actually Gaza is like such a white way to say it.
Gaza.
Yeah, the fact that they attacked those specific places, the women and the children, they are touching on the weak point, not the weak points, but the sensitive parts for Palestinians. And it's not just a Palestinian thing. Masjid al-Aqsa is the third holiest site in Islam. So it doesn't just affect the Palestinians, but all the Muslims around the world.
Exactly.
And it's crazy to me that it takes people pretty much like posting on a consistent basis, basically begging for, not attention, but begging for people to bring more awareness, for the media to finally be like, oh yeah, there's conflict in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Quote-unquote conflict is not really conflict.
There's no
cleansing.
Exactly. There is no conflict. That's like if someone was to call the Holocaust, the Germany and the Jewish conflict. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be offended that I just said that.
Yeah.
But that's exactly the same thing that's happening in this time around.
Yeah. And it's honestly the most. And actually, there was something that happened recently. We were breaking our fast. It was a few days ago when it really started. Basically the day when the Israeli forces started sending rockets into Gaza.
Yep.
And they started shooting back, or they started sending rockets back. And I think we had like CP24 on, and the way that even CP24 was reporting the news, they were saying like Hamas was sending rockets into Israel, not even mentioning the fact that Al-Aqsa Mosque was being the people at Al-Aqsa Mosque were being attacked, not mentioning the children that were killed by the Israeli rockets at first. Like, it's almost like it is just one side of the story, and that's the most frustrating part. And I can see it like visibly affecting my dad who's watching it, because at his point he just feels like hopeless, right? Like, he's like, what can we do? What can you do in this case?
I think, the news outlets, different governments, like, Biden, Trudeau, all of them, I think they truly fear openly condemning the acts of the Zionists.
Definitely.
Because of that relationship that for some reason they're trying to uphold with Israel.
It's the reason the American government wants to uphold that relationship with Israel is because I think Supay Taha mentioned it in his videos, where America actually uses Israel as its almost like a home base within the Middle East. So that's essentially where they use to launch a lot of their attacks or the rockets or to other countries. They use Israel as their base. So they need that country. That's why they
pay them billions of dollars each year.
Exactly. And that's why they gave them the Iron Dome, which protects Israel completely from any rocket attacks that might get into the country. They need that land to, it all comes down to politics and
war,
money, all of that, right? And that's the reason they don't want to, they still support. I was so annoyed. So do you know a guy named Andrew Yang?
No.
Well, he's currently running for mayor. He's an Asian American who's running for mayor. And I actually thought I didn't know much about his politics.
Wait, was he on a Joe Rogan podcast?
Yeah, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. Yeah.
Yep.
And like he became popular, I think like a year, maybe 2 years ago or so, because he came out with he was really pushing for basic income.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Of everyone, yeah. And I was like, okay, that's something I feel like is a really good idea. Of course, like I was sort of for it. I could see a little bit of the holes in it, but I still thought he was just a cool guy in general, just from how he acted. And then I was so just annoyed. He immediately came out in support of Israel. And when I found out that the reason that he was so in support of Israel is because he needed the Israeli/Zionist support within New York so he can win the mayoral race, I was like, okay, so like all these politics are sellouts.
100%.
There's nothing to like. The only real MVPs are like, of course, we have Ilham Omar, and we have.
There were actually a lot who posted on Twitter.
Andrea Ocasio-Cortez. Yeah, like they're the real MVPs right now. And hopefully there's some more waking up, but unfortunately it's just it can feel like a hopeless situation, especially when you have countries as influential as America and countries who should be speaking out about it, like
all of the Muslim countries.
Yeah, the Muslim countries, but they're not speaking about it.
Very, their silence is deafening. What are your thoughts on celebrities speaking up on these types of?
Well, they're not speaking up on it, are they?
Did you see Rihanna's post?
No, I haven't been on Instagram that much.
Hers, it's very much. It's giving all lives matter vibes.
Oh, she was like both sides kind of thing. Find peace between each other. She
was saying, "Oh, it's very heartbreaking that Israeli and Palestinian children have to hide in bomb shelters." Sis, who has bomb shelters? Who has bomb shelters? Exactly. Please tell me where.
Like, did you hear about that story where? They'll literally get phone calls from the Israeli not special forces, like the CIA of the Israeli government or whatever. And they'll tell them, hey, so we're going to bomb your house in like maybe 10 minutes. You might want to leave. And the thing is that like the tragic story was there was one guy, a dad, who he got the call when he was like grocery shopping, and his whole family was still at home.
And they didn't have a house phone.
Yeah, and they didn't have a house phone, and unfortunately, he lost his whole family to that. So, they're not trying to cover up anything. They're doing it blatantly. The world can see what they're doing, but they don't care because
I think the power of social media is it's finally opening the world's eyes, because before Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever, we would just rely on the news on TV, which we all know is heavily filtered. Yeah. And now the Palestinians themselves are recording what's happening and posting it directly online. So we see it firsthand.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this already. Instagram, Twitter, I think Facebook as well, they've been deleting some of the content, saying that it's against community guidelines.
Yeah. No, because they have special interests as well in all of whatever.
Obviously. And I know that Instagram apologized for deleting people's stories, saying that it was like a system-wide glitch.
Yeah.
Really, nigga? Really? System-wide glitch. Okay.
Yeah, and but all we can do as individuals is like, of course, donate.
Yeah.
To help out the people, hit the streets and protest against these things, because I guess the goal of the protests it's not only to get out there and...
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, what would you say to the people that say, well, what's the point of everyone gathering?
Well, it's because right now the news is not reporting the actual atrocities that are going on in that country. But when you hit the streets, it's going to automatically... the news is going to gravitate towards it. They're going to cover it.
Numbers.
Exactly. And they're going to get the people who actually have the real information, hopefully on the mics, and get it onto the news so they can actually report what's the real information, right? So because when they put the people on the news and they say they're protesting, they have to explain what they're protesting about. That's what my idea is. Like, they have to at least explain why these people are on the streets, and maybe that'll get some people who are watching the news who didn't know the full story. It'll get them more interested and maybe do more research themselves to kind of figure out what's really going on.
I mean, yeah, like when all of this was like kind of starting to pick up traction on social media, I took it upon myself to follow certain pages that I knew were posting more accurate information. So now my entire timeline on Instagram is pretty much all of that, which is good because I can see it all firsthand. But at the same time, it's like really starting to just like, I dread opening Instagram now because I know that I'm just going to feel like sad and hopeless and just, you know what I mean? So it's almost like a double-edged sword. Like, I want to educate myself, and I've done a lot of research about it, but at the same time, it's like anytime I open up Instagram now, it's like I see another bunch of kids dying, bombs, buildings getting blown up. Like,
you can definitely get like tragedy fatigue, if that makes sense.
There's a word for it.
Yeah, there is. I don't know. I'm really forgetting.
It's not tragedy fatigue. It's something else. Something fatigue. Trauma fatigue.
Possibly. I don't know. I know there's a word for it too, but I'm forgetting what now. But that's roughly what you're saying. Yeah. And I have the same thing. Like,
when it started for me. Yeah. Because especially when the George Floyd incident happened. Yeah. I was so like into just reading about it constantly, and it was on the news like nonstop. Yeah. So it's like I get off my phone and I'm like, let me watch some news. And it was just that nonstop, all the protests, all the people that are like so mad, and I felt it too. And we've definitely talked about it too. And so I almost felt like that burnout feeling, like, what are we gonna do,
Yeah, and it always feels hopeless. But thankfully, with the George Floyd situation, like, this is something we point to as a form of justice that finally was served properly. Well, at least we hope that when the sentencing comes, that he actually gets proper time for it. Right. But at least he was convicted. And we're talking about Derek Chauvin, who was a cop who killed George Floyd. And he was, I think, sentenced on all 3 charges of murder. I think it was like secondaries, like, I forget what all the charges were, but he was charged on all 3 as guilty. And that was definitely like a little, just a tiny bit of relief, being like, okay, they finally heard us. People say that, like, they want to say, like, hopefully that the jury wasn't affected by the outcry for
I was just going to say, do you truly believe that the jury truly believed that Derek was guilty?
Yeah, for sure.
Or do you think they feared the reaction of America if they said, oh, he's not guilty?
Like, people want to say that, who want to discredit
I'm not trying to discredit. I'm just genuinely.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying in general, people would say that to discredit what.
Because they don't have faith in the American justice system anymore. That's why, and I don't blame them. Look at how many people were killed senselessly, and no accountability was held.
Yeah, and finally, we got some type of accountability for the police, and hopefully, this is like a landmark case where that can be used in future cases to convict more police officers. I know right now you're about to say, "Oh,
no." I was just gonna say, and I'm just gonna take a religious spin on this. Honestly, it's a sign of the times. Eventually, we're gonna reach a time where people are just killing one another, and they don't even know why. They're just killing them, and they don't know why. And it's it's the harsh reality. It's the truth. It's coming. And I feel like we're already at that place.
Well, it can feel like that, but I always try. Like, I think I had this conversation with my dad yesterday. He was like, "You feeling hopeless?" And I was like, "Just we're living in this like short amount of time, and if you look at the grand scheme of things, things have life has always been, in general, human life or human experience has been ups and downs throughout history. Yeah, like right now we're kind of going. It feels like we're going in the downward motion." But like, you can always point back to 200 years ago, 100 years ago. Like, things have always gone worse than better, than worse than better. So I like to take the more optimistic view, being like, okay, things are bad now. They may get better, because I don't know when the end times will be coming. It could be 10 years from now. It could be 100 from now. It could be thousands of years from now. I don't know. Even though the signs have been showing up. Allah, what does they say when they, like, you don't know?
Allahu Alam. Like, God knows.
Exactly, God knows. But then, of course, in general, or ultimately, you want to say, like, everything happens with God's will. Of course. From the Muslim side, or from the Islamic side, anyone who's God-fearing in general, you just say everything happens for a reason, or not for a reason, but everything happens with God's will, or for a reason as well.
It's all written. Listen, whether you're Muslim or not, just listen to this. It's all written. It's already written. Everything that has happened is written, and everything that is going to happen has been written. So, not to say that we shouldn't. We shouldn't speak up against injustice. Yeah, or like be optimistic that things might get better. Inshallah, God willing. Things eventually, justice will be served. Yeah, especially for the oppressors, justice will be served.
Yeah, and I think that's where you can find hope, because there's always, once you lose hope, then you've lost already. Like, there's no coming back from that.
You have to rely on God. Yeah, God is the most merciful, the most just. Yeah. So you might think that people are suffering now, and that's not fair, and how come this is happening to them? Pray for them, make dua for them. Yeah, they'll get their justice will be served.
Yeah, and hopefully, and of course, even with this Palestinian situation, this is just one of thousands of things that are going on or affecting the Muslim community in general. And then there are, of course, 1,000 other things that are affecting the world in general. So it can feel like there's no brighter side of things, but things, inshallah, will get better, right?
I'm not going to lie, on Eid, I felt really like I was in a somber mood. I was like, how can we celebrate and be happy when so many people around the world, are suffering? Yeah. I felt very torn on the inside.
Well, you can look at the same people in Palestine. Did you not see the pictures and the videos in Palestine?
I did. I reposted them.
Yeah. Like, the people who are facing the most injustice still find times where they're
so strong.
Yeah.
They're
where
so
they
resilient.
can find joy and because they realize how finite their life is, or how finite life is in general, like how it can be gone within the next day, within the next hour. So I like to believe that these people have figured that out and learned to live in the moment and learn to cherish every moment that they currently have. But yeah, you just have to hopefully stay positive, make your dua for these people, make your donations, speak out for them, speak out for the people who can't speak for themselves, And this is, of course, not only for the Palestinians, we mentioned George Floyd, so also for the black community as well. And hopefully things will get better over time. And I feel like that's a deeper conversation we can have about the George Floyd situation in general.
I just wanted to circle back to that for a quick second, though, because the question that I brought up earlier was regarding people who have a social media platform, celebrities, influencers, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel like it is necessary for them to speak up on all global issues? Because here's the thing. This is a trend that I've noticed on social media. When it becomes cool to post something about a global issue, a social issue, a legal, whatever type of issue, that's when everyone jumps on board. But if it's like, oh, this is a bit taboo, or oh, this might get me in trouble at work, or then people are more hesitant to post, or they're more they don't pick a side. They'll be more neutral. They try to stay neutral, and that really bothers me. It's like, if you can't even stand up for what's right, then you'll fall for anything. You'll literally you'll believe lies. Like, people were so pressed against the ones who used to say all lives matter, and I'm not saying that I agree with the statement all lives, because I don't. I mean, okay. Let me rephrase that. Of course, it is implied. All lives matter, it is implied all lives do matter. Exactly. But at that specific time, we were speaking about a specific group of people to say that Black lives matter because their lives were in jeopardy.
Because they're currently facing injustice.
Correct.
And being attacked.
Exactly. And so now, people who are saying the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, oh, the Palestinians are fighting back, or they the way that some people have been wording the posts that I've seen, it's very interesting. It's like, when, say you are part of a specific group, if your group is going through an issue, you're going to look to your allies to also help speak up about whatever it is you're going through. But when your allies are going through an issue, if you don't speak up about that, that's not fair. That's not like that means that you don't stand for social justice. You just stand for whatever affects you personally. Not you, but for the sake of this example. So when I saw Rihanna's post, I don't know what her intentions were. I saw a video of a guy defending her, saying she means well, but it was problematic. It was very like, you should look it up just to read what she said, because it was like, when you have such a big following, you don't realize how you influence people and the way that they think. And so, I'm sure now she realizes, like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, maybe hopefully there was someone close to her who knew more about the situation, took that as an opportunity to kind of speak to her and explain it more in detail. I don't know if she's come out again or maybe said something else about it. Hopefully she does in the near future.
I hope so.
To clear up exactly what she said. Because I don't know what she said. I didn't see the post at all. But
I'm disappointed in
saying,
DJ like Khaled, though.
Because he didn't speak up about it at
all. Like, nothing. He's just here promoting his album. That's all he's doing. And talking about his sons.
And I've never looked. I don't look to those people anyways for.
I don't either. But sometimes, you have someone with 5 followers versus someone with 5 million followers. It's not that you expect them to post, but it would be nice to have, like, use your voice for good. Not just, hey guys, buy my album. Hey guys, watch my movie. Watch my Netflix series.
Don't you think it's more important for the politicians to speak? Because right now, politicians are social media influencers themselves, to a point. Like, but they have millions of followers now.
I've seen some of them who have. I saw their Twitter posts, or they would like post it on screenshot and post it on Instagram, which I was honestly, so I didn't expect any American politician to post about it, and they did. So I was like, wow, okay, that's new.
So I guess it does kind of annoy us that especially, I guess, since we're talking about the Palestinian conflict and Black Lives Matter.
It's not a conflict.
No, sorry, not the conflict. Palestinian.
The illegal occupation of Palestine. Illegal occupation.
See, even I'm slipping up on this. I'll say what you said earlier. And the Black Lives Matter movement. You'd think that since the people who were really pushing for that Black Lives Matter movement would see the injustice that's going on in Palestine right now and give that same energy to the people, but you're not seeing that. And unfortunately, that is disappointing that they're not actually speaking out about it. But how much of that do you think is human nature, right? Because a lot of the times you won't give too much energy to things that don't affect you personally, because a lot of the celebrities who were speaking out when the Black Lives Matter movement was in its like full force. It's because it literally did affect them personally. They knew people who were affected by this injustice that was going on within America. But the Palestine conflict right now, or let's even talk about the Chinese Uyghur Muslims. Not why I say conflict all the time.
The genocide,
exactly. But also I said for Palestine
or ethnic cleansing. Yeah. Basically,
I should just edit out all this conflict that you say.
Beep the word conflict.
Yeah, beep that. But like that's so far and like out of their realm and out of their circle that they, even if they try to give energy towards it, it's almost like they don't feel authentic when doing it, even though they should still do it.
I'm sorry, but if you don't feel authentic about speaking about injustices that are happening around the world, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you using your platform for?
Yeah.
How do you not feel genuine? Oh my God. I'm getting mad now.
No. It's all good. Stop getting mad on these podcasts.
No, I know. I feel like every one that we talk about something serious, like I end up being really angry.
No, but yeah. So, okay, then let's end it out like I mentioned earlier on the positive note where we say, inshallah, that things do get better. We will continue to speak out against all this injustice that's going on.
May Allah grant the Palestinian people their justice.
Inshallah.
May He give the Zionists what they deserve. It's coming for them. They know.
Inshallah.
They don't know, but it's coming.
And we'll leave it at that. But here, let's talk about some positive news that I recently heard.
Or it's the positive news.
Okay, so I don't know if you know about this YouTuber called Chunks.
I do.
On YouTube. He's a UK
What's his genre?
YouTuber.
Like
they do like
comedy.
They do like comedy, like you know how people they'll kind of like do like quiz games, or
I've seen some of his videos.
Yeah, a little bit like a podcast style, but they do kind of games when they're doing the videos.
It's like guy humor.
Yeah,
they slap each other.
But they sometimes have exactly. Sometimes girl things. No, they don't slap each other too much. It's more like
I've seen the ones where they slap.
Okay, maybe they
each
do.
other, and I'm like, oh,
I wasn't. I didn't really know about him too much until like maybe a few months ago or so. Or maybe I'd see them here and there with like people with another big YouTuber like KSI.
He filmed with him?
Yeah, they're friends and everything. But one thing I didn't really know is that he actually had a pretty prolific like music career going on. Oh
yeah, I've heard some of it. I've seen his music videos and stuff.
Well, you won't see them for too long.
Why?
So recently, a few months ago, he's like, I don't know, he was kind of reevaluating his deen. He was really big. When I say he was big in music, I mean like he was getting multi-million-dollar contracts for record deals.
Did he have that many songs?
Yes, because
he had like 3 songs.
Because the British music game and the American music game are almost like, you don't hear about what's going on in Britain for the most part, but there are some big artists in Britain that we don't know anything about, including people like Chunks, KSI. KSI is actually really big in UK.
KSI is a singer?
He's a rapper. No, he's a rapper.
I thought he was just a regular YouTuber.
No, he has a really big like
I had no
top
idea.
number 1 hits in UK charts.
I had no idea.
And like Chunks himself was getting like top 40 hits on the charts.
Wow.
He was friends with Drake. He was friends with like all the major. Yeah, he was friends with the major artists in Britain.
He's like 22 or 23.
Yeah, he's so very young. And alhamdulillah, I mean, mashallah, like this year he actually had like a drastic weight loss.
I follow him on Instagram, but I don't like follow him.
Yeah,
I just,
he lost like over 100 pounds.
That's amazing.
He's just bettering his life. But then a few months ago, he's like, you know what? He was reevaluating his deen. And he's like, I don't know, man. I don't feel right with this music thing going on. So he made the choice to just stop it cold turkey. And when I say that, I mean like he had on the table. So tell me what you would do. He had a multi-million 7-figure deal ready to go, ready to sign. All these artists ready for him to be in his music video, in their music videos, in their tracks. And he's like, no, I'm going to stop. Like 100%. So if you were offered $10 million, that you already had a music career going on, would you turn that down, to become a better Muslim? Do you think you have that ability? If you were already in it, you had like the money there, you knew what was coming, you knew how big you could get. Do you know if you have that like that courage to be like, nah?
I'm just gonna say one line from, and you might recognize this line.
Okay,
it's from a friend of ours. Don't sell your soul to the devil because the religion is free.
Done. No.
I don't want to drop the mic because it's expensive, but you know.
Expensive with co-marks. Oh, God.
But no, for real. Like, first of all, I respect him.
Yeah.
Because I know how tempting it is.
Yeah.
7 figures?
Yep.
He could basically set himself up for life, but how short is this life compared to the afterlife? And
he came out with a video probably like 3-4 weeks ago, because it wasn't official until about 3 or 4 weeks ago, where he came out with like an 18-minute long video, where podcast style, where he talked with one of his friends. Yeah, you should watch it. Just search Chunks Why Stopped or something on YouTube. It's spelled like CHUNKZ. Yeah, Z.
Okay.
But yeah, he said, like, I don't know, I reevaluated my deen. Ramadan was coming up. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. So he understood, like, this is haram money that I can't be making anymore. So he stopped 100%. And since then, he's just been working on becoming a better Muslim.
May Allah guide him.
Yeah, and he's Somali. I forgot to mention that he's Somali.
Yeah.
In the UK. And I thought that was just something like, I didn't think that things like that would even happen these days.
Didn't Akon do that?
No, I think Akon still makes music.
No, he doesn't.
To this day. No?
He definitely does. I'm pretty sure he stopped.
Yeah.
And he's been doing a lot of humanitarian work, like, on the low, which good for him, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he stopped making music.
Okay,
and
then.
I was gonna say didn't J. Cole, but he just dropped an album.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Never mind.
No. But did J. Cole even dabble with it too?
Where he stopped making music?
Yeah. Oh no, I thought you meant with like becoming a Muslim or something.
So I saw a post. I haven't listened to his album, but I saw a post about one of the lines in one of the songs that he has says that he was looking into Islam, but he said that he wasn't disciplined enough to keep up with it.
I think the lesson you could take away from that is that no matter how far deep you think you are into something, you can always say no, and there's always a way out. Like,
you're saying that as if he was like trapped and had no choice.
Well, that's the thing. Like, when you have that much money on the table, and you have all those people that work for you, that look up to you, that people who rely on your business, because I'm pretty sure he had a whole team with him. Yeah, he had all these people who were. If he's making money, all these other people are making money.
But his job wasn't just making music. Like, wasn't his...
Yeah, his main job was YouTube. That's how he became popular. Yeah. But then, of course, because he had a nice voice, he used that to start making music.
He should get signed to Awakening Records and start dropping some...
That's what you say. He was like, so you can start dropping the sheets now or something?
Yeah, competition for Maher Zain.
He did actually make like some posts after he made the full announcement of him just reading the Quran with his voice. So, wow. Yeah, alhamdulillah, like, it worked out for the best for him. Gosh, I keep dropping all the stuff in here.
Good for him. That's a feel good story.
Yeah, and here I will tell you a story or something that doesn't feel good. Getting the vaccine.
Oh, why? I thought it was gonna be something that was gonna anger me again.
No. So last week, actually, we never even mentioned this part. This is the second time we're doing the podcast.
Oh yeah, we didn't even mention that.
Yeah, so we last week we came here and we set up everything. Set up the podcast. At the beginning, we started recording, and we're like, it looks pretty quiet. But for some reason...
You know what's funny, though? Because we both tried to, like, yell into the mic. We're like, yeah, it looks fine.
Exactly. We looked at it. It didn't look right, but we still were like, it's fine.
We recorded such a good episode. Like, you literally cannot replicate it.
Yeah.
And 2 days later... Amir calls me, and by the way, guys, Amir never calls me. So when he calls, I get excited, like, ooh, what's up? He was like, don't be sad, but I have some bad news. And I was like, did the podcast get deleted? He's like, no, it's not deleted, but our microphones weren't even like...
It wasn't recording anything? Yeah. So it was literally just recording off of like the laptop mic, which was on the other side of the table, which is far away from Sarah, so you can hear slightly what I'm saying. Yeah, but you can't hear nothing what you're saying.
Like at all?
You can hear like little beats here and there where you got a little bit louder. Yeah, but not the full conversation.
That's so annoying.
So unfortunately, that's a lost episode. Maybe one day we'll like
there's like a good clip.
Yeah, we kind of we tried to copy some of those, not copy, but cover some of those topics again today, including like Palestine and George Floyd, but we went into a lot more detail, which of course we'll probably come back to on another day. But yeah, so we officially made I feel like that's like a rite of passage for podcast recorders.
It is.
Where you kind of just mess up a recording and you have to do it again.
First of many, probably, honestly.
Yeah, well, now today we spent literally 10 or 15 minutes just making sure that our sound was working properly.
I swear, if it doesn't record this episode, I'm going to throw a fit.
No, we got it perfect today. Like, can you hear me properly?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, see?
Volume
everything's working.
Is perfect.
Yeah. So, alhamdulillah, we got it all worked out now. And inshallah, that won't happen again.
Inshallah.
Okay. So, yeah, what was I talking about? Getting vaccinated.
Oh, yeah.
So, I got vaccinated last week. When did you get vaccinated again?
The Wednesday before. So, it's almost 2 weeks now.
Okay. And, honestly, like when people said, "Oh, your arm gets sore," or whatever, I was like playing out. I was like, "Oh, I'll be fine," right?
I think you played yourself.
I did play myself. So I got the vaccine last week. It was like late in the afternoon, and I was like, you know what? I don't feel too bad. So the next morning, I woke up, immediately started working out just as hard as I normally do, and as the day went on, I was like, why does my arm feel weird here? And legitimately, by the end of the night, my arm had like gone limp, like. It didn't go limp, but essentially I could not use it out of the sheer pain that was going on in my arm. It felt like someone had like shot me in the shoulder.
Did it hurt even if you just sat still?
Yeah, it was like a throbbing pain in my arm.
Oh, that's not good.
And it didn't go away until like Wednesday. It lasted. I got on Saturday, and the pain lasted for like 4 days or something. Wednesday or Thursday. Oh my God! And the weird thing is that the pain actually like went from my shoulder and slowly shifted to like my inner armpit. And
whoa, that's weird.
Yeah, and the weird thing about that is like because it was in my inner armpit, I couldn't lift my arm properly because it felt like it was just stretching out some like muscle in my arm. So that was definitely not fun.
How do you know that you didn't like tear something?
Nah, I think now I'm good. So everything's good. I still feel like a little bit of soreness.
Still?
Yeah, I don't know. I think honestly, just don't work out, guys. After you get the vaccine.
That's the first and last time you'll ever hear Amir say don't work out. Just remember that, you guys. Anyone who knows him personally, that's the first and last time you'll ever hear him say that.
Yeah, I don't know how to chill, guys. That's my issue. I just should have chilled for one day at least, taking a break, let it get through my system, and just go on from there. Did you get anything after this? After the vaccine? Did you feel anything?
Like 10 minutes after, like it my arm always gets sore after a vaccine.
Yeah.
Or vaccination. Is it vaccine or vaccination?
Vaccine? Getting the vaccine or vaccination. Yeah. The action.
Anyway, after I get a needle.
Yeah.
Okay. My arm usually gets sore.
Yeah.
The next day, it only really hurt if I touched it or if I like moved my arm around. Mm-hmm. But other than that, the only other like side effect I got was just fatigue. But then after day 2, I was good. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't. Honestly, we're crying for this one. Wait till you get the second one.
No. So that's cap, okay?
How is that cap?
I had to get a second opinion. So we have a friend, aka family member, called Nabat. I was
gonna say leave her anonymous.
Huh? No, she lied to us, okay? So I went to get it. So she told us, "Oh, the second dose is gonna be a lot worse, guys." That's how she sounds, guys.
No, she doesn't. She definitely does not sound like that.
The second dose is gonna be a lot worse, guys. Just watch. And then I was like, okay, let me get a second opinion. So I messaged another friend and I was like, so like apparently the second dose is worse. She's like, nah, what are you talking about?
I mean, I think obviously it affects everyone differently, but in general,
yeah,
I think it is worse than the first one.
Well, she did mention the second opinion I got. She's like, if you already had COVID, usually the first shot is the worst one.
Oh, good.
And then the second one, you'll be fine.
Oh, then we're in the clear.
But then, Nabat, should I say her name?
I mean, you already said it now.
Yeah, I already said it now. It's too late.
But you can
Sorry, Nabat, you're getting called out.
You can keep her anonymous. You can just say my friend, because if you're going to mention
Hey, there's a million Nabats out there. You don't know who we're talking about.
Okay.
But apparently,
You'll be hearing from her lawyers.
Didn't she ever get COVID? I don't know if she did. Yeah. Oh, wait. Am I calling her out?
You'll be hearing from her lawyers.
But yeah, so yeah, that's cap. Nabat's a liar, and that's not true at all.
You know what? Well, guys, just wait till our podcast episode in August. We will revisit this conversation to see how you feel after your second.
I'm not waiting till August to get that second shot.
You have to. What do you mean?
No. I feel like once they get a good amount of people vaccinated, they're going to start giving out that second shot.
Don't you have to wait the 14 or however many weeks? 16 weeks?
No, you have to only wait 3 weeks.
To get the second vaccination?
Yeah. In America, there are bare people who had the second vaccine already.
Yeah, because they started getting it way before us.
No. 3 weeks is all you need. That's why, didn't you see all the nurses are fully vaccinated?
What are you talking about?
All the nurses are fully vaccinated, both shots. Even
your sister had to wait like 12 weeks.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, she did. She waited a long time to get the second one. Was it 12 weeks? Maybe it was 8. It was a while though. It wasn't 3 weeks. It was definitely not 3 weeks.
Okay, we're gonna have to come back to this one on another episode. We should have like a part of the podcast where we have like
I've never heard the 3 weeks.
Recap on all the facts.
Yeah, like fact checking everything.
Fact checking everything that we said. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that you can get it within 3 weeks.
I've never heard that before. Who told you that? Here in Canada or just America?
You know what? Okay, 1 second. Let me just Google this real quick. We have the internet in our hands.
Brief intermission.
1 second. I'm just going to put in here. How long until you can get the second vaccine? How far apart vaccine does taking? 21 days. 21 days is how long? 28 days for the Moderna and 21 days for the Pfizer or BioNTech. What I say? Why you doubt me? I am the fact king here.
Anyways.
Okay.
Anyway, we're definitely not going to get it in 3 weeks.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to get it in 3 weeks, but I'm hoping because
it takes 2 weeks for it to even become effective, for you to be somewhat immune, for the like vaccine to actually kick in and work in your body.
Yeah, but if you already had COVID, I feel like that's kind of faster. I feel like it's faster. Like you're covered faster because you already have the antibodies in your body from getting COVID to begin with, and then you're getting the vaccine on top of that.
How long do the antibodies stay in your body?
Like 4 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
has it been 4 months?
Probably, but still, at that point, if you're getting the vaccine on top of it, I feel like we're like in a 90 percentile range right now.
Maybe.
Yeah. We got it. Don't worry. We're good. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay?
We're good because I stay home.
I stay home too.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. I work from home. I all I do to go out is get food. I'm literally the most introverted person out there. I don't go out. I don't talk to no one. I don't do nothing.
Yeah, you're right. But
exactly.
you here?
Okay. Let's try and close out this podcast with a couple things I kind of left out from the Ramadan episode. And like we talked about like breaking the fast and everything, but we never talked about like suhoor problems. And like the reason I wanted to bring this up is because there's like one thing I feel like everyone can relate to. Like I don't know if you've done this when you were a kid, but like you know how when you're having suhoor, you're like you have all this food and you're like, oh, I forgot to drink water, right? So you get like the biggest bottle you can get. You drink every last bit of water in there, and at that point your stomach is so full you feel like if you just like tip over, it'll just spill out, right? Have you ever done this? Have you ever gotten into bed and slept sitting up because of how full your stomach was?
No, I would just slept sitting up.
Yeah, I literally was so full one day from suhoor that I slept sitting.
Hold on, wait. What kind of foods did you eat for suhoor?
I ate everything. I ate a full meal
at like 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
How do you even have an appetite at that time?
You don't have an appetite in the morning?
No. Okay, but I mean, I basically do like intermittent fasting, not to like for any other reason besides the fact that like I just don't have an appetite first thing when I wake up. Oh,
I can eat just as much as I eat at iftar. I can eat sometimes I eat less at iftar than I can at suhoor. At suhoor, I'm like killing it. I have a bowl even for now because I'm talking about like
what's your typical suhoor?
My typical suhoor is a whole meal, so I have like rice. I'll have veggies.
Are you serious?
At
3 a.m.
Yeah, and I'll have a salad. Like I'll get about 7 ounces of chicken or fish. I'll mix it into a salad. Sometimes I'll break it up, and then if I want, I'll get like some toast bread and I'll put eggs on them and then put cheese on top of that, and I'll eat it all.
So you have a 5-course meal.
Essentially, and then I'll Have some water, of course, to like fill me up. I have two of the full bottles of water, not bottles, but like I have the reusable thing that's like 1 liter, so I have that twice, maybe once, twice. It depends on how much time I have, because sometimes I push it with the time source.
Oh my goodness!
And there's one time where I actually did that all within like 15 minutes, because have you ever done this where you woke up for suhoor, but then like you like put your eyes closed back together just for a second, and then you wake up and your mom's shouting at you like you have like 15 minutes before you can stop eating?
Then you come down like you're angry and you're just like, I'm just gonna have water. It's fine.
I don't get angry. I get focused.
Do you prioritize what you need to eat?
I prioritize exactly what I need to eat, and I still get it all down.
Wait, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When you eat all this food, do you get hungry during the day?
Well, like I still work out and I still go on my runs/walks. So usually, during, for some reason, even before it, sometimes I'll get a little bit, but it comes to a point where like you kind of, you know how like when you hear a sound in the background that just constantly keeps going, you just forget that it's even there. Yeah. It's almost like that with hunger.
It's because you just get used to feeling hungry.
You get so used to being hungry that you don't even have to acknowledge it anymore. Like your body doesn't even acknowledge it anymore. It doesn't become a pain, doesn't become an annoyance.
But what about the days that you don't work out?
On the days I don't work out, that's when I feel it the most, because
why? You're not doing anything.
Because I'm not distracted.
Oh.
Because for me, I like plan out my whole days, but then on my rest days, I feel like I'm the least productive. So
why? You can do other things.
Yeah, I do other things. Like I usually read, or I'll go on even a longer walk. So usually I'll go for like a 45 minutes to an hour. So you still
technically
work
out. You're using your energy.
Yeah, I'm still using my energy, but not in like a dynamic way. Like working out, you gotta like you're moving around and stuff, and you're lifting weights. You're thinking about just the weights. You're not thinking about how empty your stomach is.
I would.
Really? Nah. It's honestly, it's not that much of an issue.
I don't know. For me, like, first of all, I can't, in my head, I cannot process eating like lunchtime or dinner foods that early in the morning. Yeah. I usually have like, what I used to have was either like overnight oats. Yeah. Or, busso, the powder. Yeah. What's busso in English? I think it's like ground up barley. That's what it is. Yeah. Okay. Roasted barley, maybe. I don't know. But that powder. Yeah. My mom and I would like mix it into powder, like, right? No, it's not red.
It's not red?
No, it's like this color. Like this like light beigey.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It just turns dark brown when you mix it. But anyway, I would have that with like make it into like a smoothie, like a hot smoothie. Mm-hmm. It was actually really good. That kept me full. Otherwise I would have like eggs. Yeah. Something small, nothing crazy.
Well, I guess it's because I haven't changed anything about what I eat. I literally just changed the times. So like, we'll go into like probably in another episode about meal prepping and all that stuff. But essentially, I've been eating the same thing for 2 years straight.
I don't know how you do that.
Every single day, because I don't have to think about what I'm eating. I just eat it. Not every single day, of course.
You're so type A.
Yeah.
Like you're very type A. Look into that.
I need to look into that.
We'll have an episode of personality types, but anyone who knows this, Amir is definitely type A.
Yeah, so I can eat the same thing every single day for the rest of my life and not get bored of it.
Do you change up the seasoning at least? The sauce?
No, once I find a good seasoning, I'll kind of just use that constantly. And I won't change it up at all. So all I did
How do you not get sick of the food?
No, man, I have 2 meals a day.
Oh my God.
And I have my protein shake, which is technically my 3rd meal.
Does that actually fill you up?
Yeah, it gets me pretty, because I get my carbs, I get my veggies, and I get my meat, which is the 3 food groups you need. Mm-hmm. And
what about dairy?
What?
Dairy.
You don't need dairy. I don't have any dairy in my diet except for in Ramadan when I had the cheese, and that's it. Usually I'll have like almond milk or cashew milk, something like that. I won't have.
Are you lactose?
No, well, I act like someone who's lactose essentially.
I don't.
Because I don't like generally I don't like ice cream, so I don't have a lot of that. But yeah, what was I getting to again? So I only have 2 meals a day. Yeah. So I'll have 1 meal. Well, in Ramadan, I'll have that 1 meal at iftar, the exact same meal that I would normally eat, and then I would have that other meal at suhoor. And then in Ramadan, I add a little bit more. Like how I mentioned, I added the cheese and I sometimes have like a vegan sausage that I add, and the bread and the eggs, because usually I'll be snacking during the day, like having.
But how do you eat all, like, okay, do you wake up like extra early to have time?
I wake up like an hour early.
And you just eat all of that?
Yeah, and I can finish it usually within 30 minutes because I also prepare it freshly. So like usually I'll have the veggies and the rice already set up, but the meat, I don't like holding it I used to keep it for like 3-4 days in a row.
I hate doing that.
Yeah, and it became just dry and it didn't like the taste. So I would now, since I work from home for the most part, I don't have to worry about getting it prepared for work or lunch bag or anything. So I just make it and I eat it right away, and I like it when it's fresh. So I'll just, in the morning, I'll wake up. I have the what do you call that? The
air fryer?
The air fryer. I'll put in my chicken. I'll put in my fish or whatever. Air fry it for 10 minutes or so. It will already be thawed, so I don't have to put in like for 20 minutes, whatever that you normally do. Take it out, throw on whatever, and eat it.
No wonder you struggled to sleep. You eat a 5-course meal. Of course you can't sleep.
No, the whole struggling to sleep when you're like sitting up, that happened to me when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, I would eat just as much crazy food and not know how to like control myself. But now I'm bigger, right? So I can at least handle it a little bit more. I had no trouble sleeping after that.
My only issue is like when you and it's such a weird logic. Like, you know that logic of like, oh, I need to drink a lot of water now so I'm not thirsty in 12 hours. Like,
yeah,
you're going to be thirsty regardless.
You like pee it out within the first few hours and then you're done for the rest of the day.
But like, I don't know why that mentality is like engraved in my mind. It's my mom.
Yeah.
She's always like, drink water, you're going to be thirsty. I'm like, you think this hydration is going to last all day?
Well, I feel like,
I know
honestly,
it does
in Ramadan,
to some extent.
But in Ramadan, I feel like people who drink more water than they normally do. Like, people who don't normally drink water.
Yeah.
When you think about it, like, there's a lot of people who forget to drink water.
That's crazy.
And there's always those like funny jokes like, why is my head hurting? It's like, do you drink water? It's like, no. I haven't drank water in a few days. Maybe that's why.
I don't know, but like, I don't know. I've never had the issue of not being able, like, sleeping sitting like this. I wouldn't even be able to sleep. Maybe if I was like,
I was wild back then too. That's why, like, I did not care about like self-control when it came to eating. So I'd eat whatever was there. Eat food.
I used to eat weird things,
eggs, everything,
like cookies and milk. I mean, that's not weird.
I remember when I used to keep cookies in the house.
Oh my god, do you remember when my mom used to buy you the box of like 100 cookies?
Yeah, your mom was an MVP for that, man. She used to go to the cookie factory and get all the defects with a bag and just give me the bag of chocolate chip cookies.
Literally, I think anyone who's known Amir as a kid knew how much you love. Like, I've never seen someone who loved cookies the way that you did.
I was like literally the cookie monster.
And you knew which cookies were good too. It was always President's Choice.
Yep. No, there's a bunch of them. There's the
Chips Ahoy.
Chunks Ahoy. There's Chunks Chips Ahoy. Oh. There's like
you're naming them all.
Yeah. Honestly, you know, it's the like the one that doesn't get as much attention but is just as good.
Which one?
Dad's cookies. The oatmeal cookies. Yo,
those are only good if you're literally starving.
No.
They're so crispy or whatever that they could chip a tooth.
No, they're just on certain days when I was sick of the chocolate chip cookies. Those ones just hit right because I used to work at No Frills. In the produce section. Yeah, so they sold Dad's cookies, and every once in a while someone would buy them because I would never buy them myself because I already had them at home.
My mom always buys them.
But they'd put them on like the break table and I'll just take a few and eat them there. Those were the best times, man. Because that's the thing, when you work at a grocery store, everyone just like buys all the junk food and leaves it upstairs on the table. So you got chips, you got cookies, and all those the ones that broken, like, you know how sometimes the bags can be broken, they would take them upstairs and you just eat from them.
Did you ever get to eat it for free?
Yeah, because they're broken, right? They didn't need them anymore. They couldn't sell it, so they're like, okay, we'll just give you guys whatever. The boss was like, yeah, just take it. But then eventually they kind of had to slow down on that because people would just purposely break stuff. Them? Yeah, and just take it back. Damn, we already hit an hour, man. All right, let's just end it. Yeah, let's just end it.
I know y'all tired of hearing our voices at this point.
We're kind of all over the place, but yeah, shout out to... Oh, no, I was about to say shout out to the Palestinians, but I feel like that's so like...
Why would you say that?
I'm sorry.
That's so weird. Just know that probably in next week's episode, Amir will be in jail for defaming Nabat.
Exactly.
Defamation.
I forgot she was going to hear this.
But thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode.
Where can they follow us?
I was just going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know where to find us on Instagram, Cousin Connection Pod.
Mm-hmm.
Amir was taken, and Ali, Sarah, and 2 underscores. So, look out for next week's episode. I think we're going to just continue posting every Thursday for now.
Yeah.
And then eventually we might switch up the schedule. We'll see.
Yeah.
We want to boost our engagement online and kind of have more dialogue and conversations with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, we definitely have a lot of plans for the future in terms of topics, potential guests, maybe Instagram Live.
Maybe, live recording, you'll hear us or see us in action as we're actually recording the podcast.
Then we really can't slip up.
No, that's the what's the word?
The beauty of it all.
Yeah, exactly. They get the insight. They get the back. The
BTS.
Why am I forgetting
behind the scenes?
Here? Just finish it outside. I'm done.
All right, guys. It's been real. It's been fun. Peace out.
Bye.
على عهدي على ديني على أرض تلاقيني أنا لأهلي أنا فديهم أنا دمي فلسطيني 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 أنا دمي فلسطيني